Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are well this afternoon.
Hello, Your Honor, Mr. McLean.
Hi.
Afternoon,
Uh,
Ms. Brown.
that reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be January the 23rd.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we'll get going as soon as, I guess, courtroom two is on with us.
Okay.
White calendar.
Don't jinx this, Mr. McLean.
Please, Mr. McLean, be quiet. Let us get through the. Woo.
Afternoon, Judge Morrow.
Oh, good afternoon. Is this Miss Miss Redden?
It is. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I can't see you, but I can see your name on the screen.
There we go.
There you go. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Good. Good to see you with us. It's been a while.
It has.
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
you as well.
Hey, Miss Holly, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Very good. And hello, everybody else.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon, Miss Champion. Are you with me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would you mind calling courtroom two and seeing if there's a problem this afternoon?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Mack, Ms. Mack, I'm, can you hear me? I'm happy to, listen to me. I'm happy to have you here this afternoon, but this is a court session, okay? You cannot be eating food and doing things of that nature. So if you're going to do that, go off camera for me or stop eating, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Afternoon, courtroom two.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Are we ready to get started?
Yes, we are ready and cooperating.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Mora. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Who do we have first?
Ready. We can do position number 6, Mr. Davis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davis. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000156B with criminal trespass and theft by taking. Is there a history? Good afternoon, Mr. Howard.
Hey, you got over 40. You got an open, enter, and auto. Attempt to commit theft by taking, obstruction, trespass. It's 24 SC 005322. Open felony obstruction, terroristic threats, simple battery. Robbery, trespass, that's open. He gotta go see Judge Ingram. You're on probation for burglary, 23 SC 185598. And history out of several states.
That's not me. I ain't never been on no I'm not on probation. I don't have no auto open. I never broken no.
Mr. Davis, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. If this is Mr. McLean's case, Mr. McLean will speak on your behalf if you'll let him know, okay? I don't want you to get in to say anything that could get you into any more trouble than what you already are in, okay? Is this your case, Mr. McLean?
No, Your Honor.
Oh.
My case, Your Honor.
Yes. So if you would like to advise him any further, please
State,
do
you
so.
got something different?
I have the same thing. I have that he
Okay.
has 46 total arrest cycles, and arrest cycles out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different states.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. Y'all, thank you.
Okay. All right. Yes, Ms. McConkey. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This case happened on the 8th of January, 2025. The defendant is accused of trespassing at the Cortland Grand Hotel, located at 165 Cortland Street, Northeast in Atlanta. He's also accused of stealing a bicycle belonging to the City of Atlanta Downtown Improvement District. The state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond given his multiple open cases and his arrest history, which, like I said, includes about 46 arrest cycles. Stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Yes, Mr. Chitaya.
We would not object to the stay away provision, Your Honor. However, we would like to ask for the lowest bond given the facts. Mr. Davis is 41 years old. He's worked in the construction industry for the past 6 years. He is a high school graduate and he has 4 children whom he supports. For those reasons, we ask for the lowest available bond in his situation.
All right. It'll be a $500 bond per charge, makes for a $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Davis, I'll have your attorney contact you after court this afternoon. If you have any questions, you can direct them to him. You want to unmute their courtroom too, so I can. I've advised you of your rights. What do you need to tell me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay.
I am a student right now, and I made my attorney aware of that. I'm a student right now. I go to college right now, and my college is paid for. I have children that I'm paying for their college also. Bro, I can't pay for my college again and pay this bill. I can't even pay the bill. That's why I asked you, young man, to ask for a signature bond. My big brothers are multi-millionaire attorneys. I could have asked to represent myself, but I didn't, bro. I asked for a signature bond. I told you I'm in college. Told you those brothers I don't communicate with. I don't have any help right now, bro. I'm a student and I just started college this month, bro. No, I'm not relaxed because I don't have at the
Thank you,
college.
Court. You have bigger fish to fry, Mr. Davis. Apparently you missed court in Judge Ingram's courtroom today, so regardless of this bond, you wouldn't be getting out today. So it's $1,000 good bond. Good luck to you,
How
sir.
I'm gonna miss the courtroom when I'm in jail, man? How I'm gonna miss one court while I'm in jail, bro?
Here we go. Come on.
You know, man, I understand, sir.
Come on.
God bless you, but it ain't no fish. It ain't just nothing.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Fish ain't get fried, man.
Come on. Come on.
I don't even eat fried fish no more.
Come on.
Your Honor, so it's $500 charge.
Yes.
This way. This way. This way. Come on.
Next, we can go to position number 14, Mr. Townsend.
Okay. I blame this on you, Mr. McLean.
Jinx. Oh, no.
Good afternoon, Mr. Townsend. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000155E with simple battery, criminal trespass, interference with possession, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest. History come out of Alabama. Got an open harassment out of Alabama. Open second degree. It says none. Family other weapon assault. I guess it's a weapon charge. He's a resident of Montgomery, Alabama.
Thank you. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is an incident from yesterday, the 8th of January. This is at the Family Dollar located at 565 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. Police were called to the location by an employee there. It's reported the defendant came in, was intercepted trying to shoplift, was asked to leave. He then returned to the location and started filming one of the clerks there, one of the employees, and arguing with him. The victim in this case, his name is Marquez Davis. So the defendant approached him, angry, coming back to the location after he'd been told to leave. He slapped the victim's hand, knocking his cell phone out of his hand onto the floor. We spoke with the victim today. He verified and corroborated the information that's in our warrants. He'll be working, but he may be able to join us on Zoom. So if you would sound for Mr. Davis, I would note the defendant is 6'5" and is substantially larger than the victim in this case. And returning back to a public store where you have been asked to leave in an agitated state and making contact with someone without consent is alarming. And so the individuals there are fearful. We're asking for a $3,000 surety, Your Honor. The defendant is not a resident of Georgia and has 2 open cases, it looks like, for an assault against a family member or not a family member, but maybe with a weapon, second degree, and then that harassment case. We'd ask for a stay away from the Family Dollar at 565 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, Mr. Townsend is 22 years old. He says that thing that shows as open that's from Huntsville is not actually open, but actually finished. And to try to confirm that, I did leave a voicemail with his former probation officer, I believe it was Miss Jones in Birmingham, but it was just a voicemail. I don't know if they're open because they're a little ahead of the weather than we are. His education is that he's right now these days online trying to get his GED. His last job was working as a stocking clerk in a Publix in Birmingham, Alabama. So despite the Montgomery address, he has moved to Atlanta now. He is having to currently stay at our shelters. He's in one of the Salvation Army shelters. He knows how to keep up with court matters, even if he has to get his mail at the Montgomery address through a relative. He would ask the court to consider a signature bond. He has no FTAs, I noticed, and I would emphasize that.
Okay, for the simple battery, it'll be a $500 good bond. For each of the other charges, it'll be a $250 good bond, make for a total of $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Family Dollar on Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. no further contact with Marquez Davis, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Townsend.
Next, we can go to position number 9, Ms. Lindsay.
Good afternoon, Ms. Lindsay. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000164A with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and simple battery against a police officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
13. Last was 2024. Suspended registration, suspended license. 2023 probation. 2020 FTA. 2017 obstruction. The booking sheet says homeless. That's
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a incident that occurred yesterday, the 8th of January at about 1:30 in the afternoon. Police initiated a traffic stop on a Pathfinder at Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard. The defendant in front of you, her daughter was a passenger in that car. The defendant's the owner of that car. So when police initiated a traffic stop of that vehicle based on the electronic reading of the tag and seeing that it had no insurance, the stop was initiated. They spoke to the driver. His name was Mr. Bean. He was confirmed to have a suspended license and an active failure to appear, and so he was detained. Police spoke to the passenger of that vehicle, the daughter of the defendant. Her name is Shauna. Same last name, Lindsay. She just had a baby. She was having a hard time understanding why the car was stopped. She was asked to get out of the car repeatedly and refused. She requested a supervisor to the scene, and that was done. Supervisors came to the scene, but the defendant also came to the scene. So, young lady in the car, passenger, her mother owns the car. She called her mom and requested supervisors to come to the scene. That was done. And the situation actually escalated from there. Multiple attempts were made by officers to de-escalate. Supervisor Sergeant came to the scene. Lieutenant followed because the defendant in front of you requested another supervisor come to the scene. So that happened. Police officers offered to take Shauna, the young woman who just had a baby, the daughter of this defendant, home. They were impounding the vehicle because it did not have register or insurance based on a run in the system. The defendant and her daughter continued to argue about there being no probable cause for the stop. And the defendant actually physically got between the tow truck and the vehicle and prevented the vehicle from being towed. When she was eventually physically removed and put into a patrol car, she bit an officer on his arm. So she's charged with obstruction for repeatedly refusing commands to get out of the way so officers could clear the scene. After forcing a very long interaction on the side of the road, and then biting a police officer. I actually spoke to that police officer today. Her daughter, the defendant's daughter, was allowed to leave with her child, get her things. She eventually complied and got out of the vehicle, got her things, and was taken home. She gave her keys to the towing company, but both individuals were pretty upset, and this escalated in a way that was unnecessary. I would note that the criminal history you just heard about includes a January 2024 driving without a license. That was out of Atlanta Municipal Court. The defendant entered a no-low plea. It was actually with the same officer who did the traffic stop yesterday. And it's noted that the young woman in front of you did the exact same thing, was stopped on the same street, Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, driving a different truck in January of 2024. She had no insurance. The car was not registered and she was unlicensed. When she was told she was going to be taken to the detention center, she requested a supervisor. She challenged the traffic stop. Many attempts were made to assist her and explain, just like yesterday. I believe the body cam in this case will show a very kind effort on the part of multiple law enforcement officers as well as their superiors coming to the scene to try to explain to someone who clearly isn't interested in an explanation about why they're doing what they're doing. The defendant had to be physically detained in January of 2024 for a very similar incident with the same officer. She has history out of Florida as well, Your Honor, aggravated battery, obstruction, and multiple arrests for assault on a law enforcement officer. She was allowed to do essentially first offender. In Florida, they do adjudication or probation before they adjudicate you. And if you successfully complete terms, then they don't adjudicate you guilty. She's been through that process twice for fighting in public and resisting arrest, 2 different cases. We're asking for a $3,000 surety, Your Honor, based on her history. The fact that seems like January is a very exciting time and she likes to argue with police. No driving unless licensed, driving a registered vehicle that has insurance, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and we would request an evaluation, Your Honor, MHET. Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, my client is 54 years old. Her education is as a registered medical assistant. Currently, she's working in a different industry as a administrative assistant, working for the International Aerospace Machinists Union and doing organizing. She's been doing that for a year, and she's been doing other administrative assistance jobs as well. It is incorrect that she is homeless because her address for mail and for residents would be 2910 Evans Mill Road, Stonecrest 30038. She will show back up to court, and she asked the court to consider a signature bond, and if not a signature bond, then a $1,000 surety. Thank you.
Okay, for the obstruction, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the simple battery, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 5 days of anger awareness. No driving without a valid license, no driving without valid insurance, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am. Your client has a question, Mr. McLean?
I'm only about 3 blocks from the jail. I can come back over there and answer that question.
The question is not really a question because I mentioned to you that my daughter had a setback. She's about to deliver her uterus and I needed to get home. And we don't have funds right now.
We're going to get you out of the jail.
I'm trying to protect the safety of my daughter and my grandchildren. And the officers would not let me do that. So she started delivering her uterus yesterday at the scene. And this is why I'm trying to get home to her. And I don't know where Miss Allen is getting Miss Anna Allen is getting all of her information from, but that is completely inaccurate. And she failed to mention that my daughter has a setback. She's about to deliver her uterus.
Miss Lindsay, listen to me. Listen to me, Miss Lindsay. You're going to be able to adjudicate this at a later time. I've given you a signature bond on this matter, so you'll be able to come back and adjudicate this later. Okay, so you'll get out as soon as you're released. Who do we have? You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position 225, Mr. Coleman.
Good afternoon, Christopher Coleman. You have been charged in case 25 CR 000158E with simple battery family violence, in case 25 CR 000165E with battery family violence, and in case 25 CR 000166E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
2021 simple battery, ag assault, cruelty to children, that was dismissed. 2020 battery DV, simple battery DV, obstruction conviction. 2020 FTA, 2018 giving false name conviction, 2014 obstruction, willful interference with emergency medical professional, reckless conduct, trespass, simple battery, DV conviction. I stopped it.
Thank you, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor. He's also position 525 CR 00167E, reckless conduct and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers.
Thank you. I'm sorry I missed that one.
No problem, Your Honor. He has a lot today. All four of the defendant's cases, 2, 3, 4, and 5 involve violence or threats of violence towards other individuals. As pretrial stated, he does have that previous battery family violence conviction where he gave the victim, Jasmine Clark, a black eye. Ms. Clark is the victim in 25 CR 166E. Position 2, the simple battery family violence is from an incident that happened May 17th of 2024. That incident location is 415 Centennial Olympic Park Drive Northwest in Atlanta. The victim in that case is Ms. Ori Grooms, who shares a child with the defendant. In that case, the defendant is accused of grabbing the victim by her hair and dragging her down the stairs. Officers did not know any visible injuries on the victim at the time of this incident. Our office has spoken with Ms. Grooms, who states that she wants no contact with this defendant. The state's recommendation for position 2 is a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, that he undergo an FBIP, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. Position 3, battery family violence. I will note that the 2 battery family violence cases should be felonies, as he does have that previous family violence conviction, but we're still waiting to hear back from the DA's office about whether or not this will be upgraded. This incident happened in March of 2024. The victim is again Ms. Ori Grooms. It happened at the same incident location. In this case, the defendant is accused of pulling the victim's hair so hard that he pulled her hair out of her head. Officers noted that she had a red bald patch on her scalp. For this case, the state is asking for a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away, and FBIP, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. Position 4, the battery family violence that happened in October 5th of 2024 occurred at the Magnolia Park Apartments, located at 60 Partial Boulevard in Atlanta. The victim in this case is Jasmine Clark, who, as I mentioned, is the victim in the previous family violence conviction. The defendant is accused of striking the victim in the face multiple times. Officers noted that the victim had a swollen bump on her forehead and she also had a black eye. For this case, the state is recommending a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away, and FBIP, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. Position 5, the reckless conduct and willful obstruction occurred yesterday at the 415 Centennial Park address. The victim in this case is Alicia Grooms, who is the mother of the victim, Ori Grooms. The defendant is accused of pulling a gun out on the victim and threatening her. The defendant was intoxicated at the time of the incident. Officers did find a small handgun in the defendant's pocket, and he resisted arrest and kept moving around. While officers were trying to detain him, other units had to arrive and assist in placing him in handcuffs. Our office has spoken with Ms. Grooms, who also wants absolutely no contact with the defendant. The warrant for this case did mention that he had a warrant out of Clayton County for terroristic threats. Ms. Grooms let us know that that warrant involves her, as in that case, the defendant threatened to burn her house down. The state's recommendation for position 5 is a $10,000 surety bond for the use of a weapon to threaten a victim, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, that he surrender all firearms in his possession, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. The state is obviously very concerned about the well-being of these women as the defendant keeps assaulting and terrorizing them. We don't think he's going to stop. If anything, we're concerned that this behavior will escalate, and we are worried that he will reoffend and continue to intimidate these witnesses. I would just ask the court to sound for all the victims in these cases, Ms. Alicia Grooms, Ms. Ori Grooms, and Ms. Jasmine Clark.
If any of those individuals are on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in.
Judge Morrow, I have our victim, Ms. Grooms, on the line. However, they have a family emergency where the grandmother is in hospice. so they can't come on camera nor make a statement, but she is online.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Redden. Whose case is this? Yes, Mr. Chitayo.
Yes, Your Honor. I would not object to the stay away and no contact provisions. However, I would like to note that Mr. Coleman is 39. He has been a lifelong resident of Atlanta and therefore do not believe he is a flight risk. He finished school up to the 10th grade and currently he is unable to work. He has a pacemaker in place, and my understanding is he receives monthly Social Security checks, which will be suspended if he spends 30 or more days in jail. Given his situation and his very little income, I would just ask for the lowest possible bond on this case.
Okay. For position number 2, the simple battery family violence, it'll be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with the alleged victim, stay away from the Centennial Park address, a social worker visit for a BHET, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. For position number 3, it'll be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with the alleged victim, stay away from the Centennial Park address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. For position number 4, it'll be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Jasmine Clark, stay away from the Magnolia Park address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. For position number 4, for the reckless conduct, 5, excuse me, for the reckless conduct, it'll be a $4,000 good bond. The obstruction, $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $5,000 good bond. No further contact with Alicia Grooms, stay away from the Centennial Park address, surrender all weapons, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Coleman.
Next. Your Honor, if you could, read HCBC their rights. They just,
Okay. All right. I can't see anyone on camera, but as long as they can hear me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We are providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you do not have a private attorney and wish to utilize their service. Who do we have next?
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. This is going to be position number 8, Ms. Johnson.
Okay, good afternoon, Francois, and good afternoon to you, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, you've been charged in case 25 CR 000160J with battery family violence. It's my understanding that this is Ms. Johnson's first arrest.
Your Honor.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. This your case?
Good afternoon. It is.
Okay, yes, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on the 7th at 984 McKay Drive, Southeast Atlanta. It was a dual arrest. The defendant's stepmother, Wednesday Castleberry, appeared on SCE yesterday and was ordered to have no further contact with the defendant. That case number is 25 CR 000143J. The defendant is accused of striking her stepmother, causing her to receive 2 bumps on her forehead. Due to the conflicting stories and the fact that both parties had injuries, the defendant had a laceration on her face. Officers arrested both of them. It does appear as though the defendant was in the process of moving out of the home at the time that this incident occurred. So Judge Law did not order a stay away for Ms. Castleberry. She stated that the stay away should be applied to Ms. Johnson. The state's recommendation for Ms. Johnson is a signature bond, no further contact with her stepmother, Wednesday Castleberry, stay away from that incident location. I do believe she's going to need a one-time law enforcement escort to get her items, 1 day of anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I object to the one day anger awareness. My client was attacked. You can see her eyes still swollen, even even though I am on camera and I'm not actually physically there, I can see that her eye is swollen. She tells me that she was in the process of moving out and her stepmother came home and attacked her. So I don't believe this is her issue at all. She was merely defending herself after she was attacked by her stepmother. But otherwise, we are okay with the state's recommendation.
Okay. As such, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Castleberry. Stay away from the McKay Drive address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might still have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Johnson.
Your Honor, and that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon, Ms. McLeod.
Thank you. You too,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Thank you.
Position number 10, Moulton.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Moulton. You've been charged in case 25 CR 000163D with simple battery and disorderly conduct. It's my understanding that this is Ms. Moulton's first arrest.
Yes, Your Honor. And this is an incident that happened in July of 2023. There's been an active warrant for a period of time. She was just picked up. Yeah, on July the 5th of 2023, 911 was called by the staff at Old Fourth Ward Pediatrics. That's 285 Boulevard Northeast, Suite 235. Staff on scene reported that the young woman in front of you arrived with her child for a pediatrician appointment. She was an hour late or more and was told she needed to reschedule, that she couldn't be seen. She became angry, cursing at staff, using vulgar language. And then as she was leaving, she picked up a brochure container and threw it at the person behind the desk. The victim in this case, Shilinga Brown, Shilinga. This was witnessed by 2 other employees who all actually reported that they were fearful that they were going to be injured as a result of the behavior of this young woman. We've spoken to staff there at the location. We're requesting a $2,000 SOB through pretrial and a requirement that she stay away from the location.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. Chataya?
No objection to the SOB and no objection to the stay away.
Okay. As such, it'll be a $1,000 SOB through pretrial level 1 per charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. No further contact with Ms. Brown. Stay away from the Boulevard Northeast address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Moulton.
Judge, is that through level 1, pretrial through level 1?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Position number 12, Smith.
Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001618 with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2012 shoplifting. That's it.
Mr. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from yesterday, or no, day before yesterday, January the 7th. At about 8 p.m., police were called to 2 different locations, actually, where this young woman lives with the victim, who's the father of 3 children, excuse me, with her. They live at 4050 Morgan Road, apartment 131 in Union City. 2 different 911 calls were made to police. Both were actually made by the sister of the victim, who lives a short distance away, 7215 Boulder Pass. When police got to the scene, they spoke to the victim, the father of the children with this defendant. His name is Tyson Alston. That's Tyssan. Alston is his last name. He had multiple dreadlocks that had been ripped from his head. He had bald portions where those had been ripped off. Police saw the dreadlocks. He reported that there was an argument in the morning as the defendant was getting ready for work. He put put his backpack on and went to walk to his sister's house, which is within walking distance. The defendant followed him while he was inside his sister's house. She was banging on the door. His sister opened the door and the defendant barged in. This is the 7215 Boulder Pass location. She barged in and assaulted him and grabbed his hair and refused to let go. His sister and a boyfriend there had to intervene and remove the young woman in front of you from the location. She then went back to her residence. The sister of the victim, her name is China Smith, Chynae, went to follow the defendant. She also called police as she was doing so. And when they got back to that location at Morgan Road in the apartment there, the defendant made threats to her. Evidently, this was an argument based on the documents I'm looking at, because the defendant was trying to get ready and go to work. And she was upset that the father of these children wasn't paying attention and was leaving the children unattended. She called over to the sister's house and said, he needs to come home. I have to leave. I'm going to work. He needs to come watch his children. The sister told this young woman he's on his way, or I'll walk him over there, or I'll come over. And I guess it wasn't fast enough. She wasn't satisfied with that. The children that they share are 4, 6, and 11. The sister also was spoken to. She corroborated the information. She reported that she called 911 twice, that when she went back to the house to talk to the defendant after she'd called 911, the defendant confronted her. She was fearful, and she also refused to give her access to the children who she was there to try to help take care of so the defendant could go to work. We spoke to the father of these children, Mr. Alston, today. He confirmed that they share 3 children. Specifically, the 6 and 4-year-old are his biological children. The 11-year-old is not his, but they all live together. He's asking for no further violent contact because he doesn't want a third party to have to deal with the exchange of their children. I think that's interesting, Your Honor, seeing as that's exactly the situation we're talking about here. We're requesting a $2,000 SOB through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if you would sound for Mr. Alston, in case he wants to join us, I don't see anything in the Fulton County case manager system about legitimation. So I'm not sure what parental rights are attached here, what the living situation is. I do see 3 different eviction actions for that location against Mr. Alston in the past year. The state's opinion would be no contact is what's appropriate here, just for the sake of 3 children having to live in an environment where, honestly, you can't force someone to parent. And if you're going to work, and you can't get your partner to watch the children, you know, that's going to be a constant issue. But, you know, that's going to be in the discretion of the court. We're asking for an SOB through pretrial. She's got little to no history, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if there's contact, we'd ask for no violent contact. And if there's no contact, we'd ask for third party.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chitaya?
No objections, Your Honor.
Tell me a bit about the, if you know, about the situation with the children. Which address, what address does your client live at? The Morgan Road or the Boulder Pass address?
The address I was given was 4050 Morgan Road, apartment 131.
Okay. So that's Ms. Smith's address. So I take it that either Ms. China or Mr. Tyson live at the Boulder Pass address.
That's where Mrs. China Smith lives, the sister of the victim. So the young lady in front of you and her boyfriend and their children live at Morgan Road in the apartment all together. And I believe the sister helps and she lives nearby.
Okay, so it's your understanding that Mr. Alston lives with them?
Yep.
Okay. Is Mr. Tyson or Ms. China on the line?
Your Honor, Mr. Tyson had to stay at work and was unable to join via Zoom. I did speak with him this morning.
Okay. Given the history, it'll be a $2,000, thank you, Ms. Redden. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with either Mr. Tyson or Mr. Tyson. No further contact with Ms. China. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Is that it? Oh, have we done, have we completed ACDC?
Yes, we're completed here. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. All right. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Be safe this tomorrow.
Thank you. You as well.
Okay, thank you. Yes, who do we have in courtroom 2?
Position number 1, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000157F with fear evasion and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7. On probation for ag assault. Out of the cab. 2018 FTA, 2014 FTA. Jail with the recommendation.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is accused of entering the MARTA station located at 1055 DeKalb Avenue Northeast without paying the required fare. When the MARTA officer approached him, he threatened to punch the officer and then pushed the officer's hand away while refusing to place his hands behind his back. The state's recommendation is a signature bond. Stay away from that MARTA location and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. McLean?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, for the fear evasion, it'll be a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the obstruction, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Abide by any active MARTA restrictions, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
Next, we can go to position number 13, Ms. Swan Law.
Good afternoon, Ms. Swanlaw. You've been charged in case 25 CR 000154B with stalking. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6. 2023 FTA, 2018 probation, 2016 DUI conviction. That's
Sally?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that actually deals with unwanted contact from between October the 1st of this year and the end of December the 27th. Police investigated a report of unwanted contact. The victim in this case, her name is Amanda Skorez, Skorez. She is a young woman that the defendant knows through a mutual friend because of a previous job that she had. She currently works at a tattoo parlor in Johns Creek. She made a police report and showed police documentation of emails and text messages from the defendant starting in October. Specific messages from her immediately on the 1st of October telling the defendant she wanted no contact with him. He was asking if he could come have a tattoo done with her. He then started to show up at her new place of business in Johns Creek. It's Pink Rose Tattoo, 5725 State Bridge Road. 2 different times in December, coming to the location, asking if she was there and being asked to leave. That was recorded on surveillance. The victim obtained an order for protection on the 10th of December, and apparently this defendant was served with that order in court on the 31st of December, and that's when this warrant was served on him. It was active. We spoke with the victim today. We're asking for a $4,000 surety, Your Honor. This defendant has not only multiple failure to appears, a prior conviction for a DUI, and in California, he has a conviction for a hit and run resulting in death or injury. We're asking for a $4,000 surety, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, absolutely no contact with the victim in this case. Mrs. Amanda Skorez, again, that's Skorez, to stay away from where she works there at the tattoo parlor and anywhere else she lives. Absolutely no contact, no smoke signals, no contact through third parties, no contact under the guise of asking for services like getting a tattoo. Absolutely no contact. I do not believe Ms. Skorez would like to make a statement today, but we have been in touch with her and she is here. Thank you.
Someone tell me what the FTA, what charge that was for in 2023?
He had an open driving without a license in 2023 and failures to appear as a result of that. He also had a DUI conviction and a conditional discharge, so probation that was felony level drug probation. He was allowed to do first offender in Cherokee County on that portion of the case after he was convicted for a DUI, so it could be related to either of those.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, the correct spelling for Amanda's last name is Skorcz.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chitayo.
So I want to emphasize that Mr. Swanlaw is 38. He has been a Georgia resident for the past 13 years. He's lived 5 to 6 of those years in the Marietta and Alpharetta areas. He holds an associate's degree, and for the past 5 years, he has worked as a machinist, repairing and making parts at a company called Expedited Technologies. He is a hard worker, and he was a member of the U.S. Army for 1 year before his discharge. We do not object to the stay away and no further contact provisions. However, I would ask for the court to consider a signature bond, but if the court is not willing, then the lowest possible bond amount.
Okay. It's going to be a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from her residence. Stay away from her business, from her place of business. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Swanlaw, let me just emphasize to you that no contact means absolutely no contact. Obviously, no personal contact, no phone contact, no internet contact, no social media contact, no third-party contact, no contact whatsoever. If you violate that provision of this bond, and I find out that you're trying to make contact or do make contact with Ms. Amanda, then this bond is going to be revoked. Good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
We just have a few announcements,
Say it again.
a few announcements for the calendar.
Okay.
Position number 11, bond was paid.
Okay, so position 11, that's Ms. Sharma has been released. Okay.
Position number 7, I was told that they handled all the charges and felony. I'm not sure, 100% sure about that.
Your Honor, what we realized is that her charges here in misdemeanor were duplicates. And so after charging it, we filed a dismissal, but she did have felony charges pending.
Okay, so these have been malpractice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So Ms. Fitzpatrick or Zakia Fitzpatrick, position 7, the criminal trespass and the false information both have been null crossed. And I think that takes care of the calendar for today. Ms. Mack, were you on here for, was the person that you're here for, was that case heard?
Oh, no, it didn't come up yet. LeBron Jones.
Okay, that concludes my calendar for today, Ms. Mack. That's why I'm wondering, and I've seen you here since the beginning.
Well, yeah, because they
Jones,
said it they said it, the defendant, but they said today at 2.
okay, well, there might be multiple courtrooms going on
Okay.
this afternoon.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, for interrupting, but LeBron Jones was on the SAP at 9 a.m. today. He's going to be reset to next Thursday SAP.
Okay.
Okay, and
So
that's a
next
9.
Thursday at 9.
Yes, that's a
At
9 o'clock
9.
calendar.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good afternoon, ma'am. Okay, I believe that takes care of the calendar. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is January the 23rd. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $1,500 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 4, SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 5, SAP calendar with a total $5,000 good bond. 6, SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. 7 was null crossed. 8, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 9 is reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 10, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 11 is reset further notice as the defendant has been released. 12, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 13, reset further notice with a $10,000 SOB through pretrial. And 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Okay, if not, you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks, everyone. Be safe this evening and tomorrow.
Yes, and
Thanks.
Any word yet? Everything in my life has been canceled all through the weekend. Are we still on for SEA tomorrow?
Good question.
You hadn't
Yes,
heard
we will
anything?
have SEA tomorrow and Saturday.
Well, we will make it through, guys. Oh, gosh.
I'll see y'all on Monday.
What if nothing happens?
rub it in, Judge. Just rub it in.
Thanks, y'all.
Take care, everyone.
You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.